So I watched all the 10 Best Picture nominees at the Oscars 2023. Are they all really worth it? Let's find out. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince, and as you know, Oscars are the most wildly popular film awards. They are considered the biggest prize in film world, and if a film is nominated or wins an Oscar, it gets that tag forever. Now you may believe it in or not, art is subjective. Everyone has different taste, so everyone has different best film. And of course there'll be some films which are great but are not even nominated. But that's the thing, right? When you make something so subjective objective, some will definitely miss out, because at the end of the day there has to be one winner. But every film that is nominated is great, but out of them only one has to win. And for us as cinephiles, it's a great way to find out about new films. There are some films which we may not even heard about, forget watching, but because of the Oscars they come into limelight and we get to know about them. And nowadays there's so much content out there that you don't know what to watch, because everyone is saying this is good, this is great. So this also helps us narrow down to what to watch. So I've been following Oscars for the past 3 years actively, and this will be the first time where I've seen all the 10 nominated films in Best Picture and more. So let's find out if they were better than RRR or was it just snubbed. And also at the end I'll talk about my predictions. So let's start alphabetically. First one is All Quiet at the Western Front. It's an international film available on Netflix, and I really liked it. It is set in the World War I, but when the war was about to end. And that makes it very interesting. And also, it's from the perspective of the German army, who were losing, who were the villains of the war. So that itself makes it very interesting. I think the only thing I've seen in that respect is Jojo Rabbit, but that is a satire. Most World War films are from the good side, the Allied nations. And the basic point of this film is to show, what war does to man, how traumatic it is. It's dark, gritty, it's full of hopelessness. We just see people killing each other and bodies everywhere. And that's the same thing this film does. But it takes it to a next level, because in this, they don't show the other side as the villain. We just see how, because of pride of some people who are sitting in their lavish offices eating great food and just making decisions about thousands of people who are just dying on the battlefield, and the irony of that. And we see how these soldiers are so replaceable, and such gruesome thing is shown in such a beautiful manner. It is shot beautifully. It makes you want to go to these places. Like, they were so beautiful places, but on the other side they're killing each other at the same place. So this film is definitely a great choice, and it's also nominated for the best international film. Now what I've heard from the inside news is that because of this film actually RRR went out from the list, because RRR had really big hype around it, but as soon as it came closer to the voting, suddenly this film came out of nowhere and everyone was talking about it, and its hype increased, and thus people are saying that it pushed RRR down and it came in top 10. But it's a worthy one. The next one is Avatar: The Way of Water, and before I say anything about the film, I would say this didn't deserve it. RRR should have been considered before this. Now why do I say that? See, it is a cinematic experience. It is a film to be experienced in a theater. It's made for it. The technology used is just something else altogether. You are just immersed and transported to this world. Technically it's outstanding, but in a film, a big chunk is a story too. And story-wise, the film is very, very weak. It's basically the same plot beats of the first movie, just that they're kids now. So nothing to take away from the technical marvel of the film, but honestly, I don't think this film deserved it. And not just RRR, there are much better films than this. And I feel just because James Cameron, it's a big film, they nominated this. Of course, also for the technical brilliance, but that's not good enough to be nominated for the best picture. The next one, The Banshees of Inisherin. Now it should have come down because The Banshees, but I took it B, Banshees. Okay, anyway, this film was a big surprise because if you think about it, the plot of the film is nothing. Two best friends are no longer best friends. Why? And that's the film. That's it. But the way it is told, the deeper meanings, the layers, the subtext, how, a good man, noble man, innocent man turns to the dark side. And the way it is shown, the supporting cast, everyone, it's just outstanding film, and it's something that stayed with me for a long time. The performances are wonderful. They are nominated for different categories as well. And if you haven't seen this film, definitely do on Disney+ Hotstar. The next one is Elvis. Now I saw this film in theaters when it released, and honestly, I had no idea about the guy. I knew there was this Elvis guy who was good at music and everything, but apart from that, I didn't know anything. And when I went to see this film, I learned about him. I learned about his struggle. There was a gentleman next to me, he was singing the songs every time they were playing. That was fun. The lead performance in the film by Ashton Butler, outstanding. But for me, that's it. Even this film didn't deserve to be in the top 10. There are much better films out there, and RRR is one of them. And even story-wise, it's nothing new. It's the same story, every film we see about a rock star or a musician. They rise to a point, then they fall back, and then they rise again. That's it. Every film has the same story. They did try some different storytelling elements in it, but nah. It didn't work for me though. You can catch it on Amazon Prime. The next one is Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is a movie that surprised everyone, I think. This was the real multiverse of madness. And you know the best thing about this, it's sci-fi, it's parallel worlds, a multiverse, but at the end it's all about human emotion. It's about a mother and a daughter. That's it. That's the basic plot. And the wild visuals we get to see through it, it's just outstanding. It's just astonishing to know the budget they made this film on. And I'm so happy that the film did so at the box office as well as in the award circuit. It may be too much for certain people. Even for me at some point I was a little uncomfortable. But just because of that emotion, I was back into the film. Now the film is not streaming anywhere right now, but you can find certain films somewhere. The next one is The Fable Men. Again, it should have come down, but anyways. By Steven Spielberg. Saw it in theaters and what a film. It's not just, a film about his childhood, of him growing up. In a way, it's inspired from his life, but the way he creates drama through it, the way with visuals he shows how he understood certain aspects of filmmaking, that's just incredible. How to frame sequences, how to edit, how to notice things in a frame. It's not just what's happening in front of us, it's also about what's happening behind that. If you are a filmmaking nerd, you'll absolutely love it. Story was wonderful, the cast did an amazing job, and they are nominated for several categories. Now the film is not streaming anywhere right now, but again, you can find it if you want to. The next one is Tar. Now I heard a lot about this film, especially Cate Blanchett's performance, and I can say she was wonderful. She definitely deserves to win the best performance. And this film was, weird for me because the way it starts, right? It's, everything is going over your head. Because, they're talking about music and this and that. Like, I personally, as an Indian, I don't get it. But as you keep watching, you realize it's not about that actually. It's about this character. And slowly, like an onion, we peel the character and we understand what's going on. This is a film where our main character starts so strong and it's just a downfall from there on. It's like, the character is disintegrating scene by scene. And we see the real person inside. And the way all of that is executed is wonderful. The cinematography is outstanding, the use of sound, and of course the performances. Because there are so many long takes and there's so much dialogue happening that, at certain point, like, how do you remember so much? And not just remember, to perform it as if you're saying it yourself. It's not like you have by-hearted the lines. That really blows away your mind. Right now it's out on theaters in India, but let's see where it will be streaming. The next one is the biggest grossing film of the year, Top Gun Maverick. Now this is a film, as an Indian, I would not really connect that well, right? Because I didn't remember watching Top Gun. No, I saw it a few years back. I didn't really connect with it. But the way you connect with this film, the nostalgia you feel, which you shouldn't, but you feel. And the legacy the film is carrying, of not just Top Gun, but of Tom Cruise, of, doing practical effects in a film, of, putting so much hard work into it. That's what this film stands for. The story is wonderful, the action, the choreography, the practical effects, the visual effects. You can see the blood and sweat that has gone into making this film. And it's wonderful, it worked for them. They didn't put it out on OTT, they waited for everything to get back to normal and then they'll put it out in theaters because it's made to watch in theater. And if you're someone who missed watching it in theater, I feel so sorry for you. Right now it's streaming on Amazon Prime. The next one is Triangle of Sadness, which I got to watch at Film Festival. It is a satire and I love satires, but for me it was a little bizarre satire because it goes into very, very different directions and it's commenting on so many things within one film. And the best part is you'll be laughing out throughout. There's no one point it becomes too serious until the end, of course. And there's so many layers in this film that you need to watch it multiple times. Now for me, I did feel little off with it because, I was like, what is the film trying to say? Because it's saying too many things and sometimes those things are contradictory. So in certain sense, I had some issues, but overall it's a great film. Again, I don't know where it's streaming, so you have to find your own way. And the last but not the least is Women Talking, which is actually my pick. It's one of my favorite films out of all the 10. And I cannot believe I'm saying this because I didn't think I would say this about this film, but after watching it, it's my cup of tea. What the film is doing is just incredible. The film is actually not real. It's all just imagination. And it actually reminded me of a short film called Devi with Kajol. I think it's on YouTube. And this is a film which, if not nominated, I would have never known about this film or watched it. And I'm so happy that I could watch it because I just adored it. I loved it. It's heartbreaking, it's sad, but at the end, it's uplifting. And it's philosophical, which I love. The debates happening. It's literally the title, Women Talking. It's just women talking in the film. But about what? That's what matters. The whole premise of the film is so good, and I learned about it's based on a book. And just the flawless execution of it really made me a fan of it. and that's why I am supporting it. Again, not streaming anywhere, you have to find your own way, but I'll highly recommend this to you. So those were the 10 films, but who will win? So my prediction is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, I would like Women Talking to win, but again, it's not that popular, and I think Everything Everywhere really has a big chance because it's already won different awards. Other than that, Pantry has a really good chance, and even All Quiet at the Western Front. Maybe if that one wins international, it may not win this one. Not every film is Parasite. Now, if you don't know, let me remind you, there are Indian films also competing, and we may get 3 Oscars this time. So check out my video on that too. I saw all those 3 films also, and this Oscars will be amazing because we'll be watching it live on 13th morning. So do join us on the channel for that too. But what are your predictions and your thoughts on these films? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, share this, and I'll see you next time.